Hello guys! Today I decided to make a video for you about IELTS test. I had an IELTS test about a year ago and I had a 7.5 on that test and it was even very close to 8.0. So I decided to speak with you about IELTS test, about some secrets that I understood, secrets that can really help you to have a higher mark than your real knowledge of English. I can say that a year ago my level of English was really not high because I wasn't living in Sweden. I had never studied in English before, and of course I feel that right now it's much better, but I will tell you about times when my English was not really very good, but it didn't stop me from having 7.5 on that exam. So I think IELTS is an exam in which you think in which you need to think a lot about the format. So first of all, what you really need to do before going to IELTS exam, you need to make at home many variants of IELTS exam. You need to train, but I think you need to not train like generally in English, but you need to train especially in IELTS. I think it's kind of a very common thing, but not everybody does it, so I think it's very useful. And as you know, in IELTS there are four parts. First is listening, and I think that for listening part what will really help you is just put on different IELTS variants. You will find millions of such in internet, and just I don't know, every day finish at least one or two variants, and that will really help you because I think that many people know that they don't really change from IELTS from one variant to IELTS to another variant of IELTS. They don't really change a lot that part. So there are many questions and many words that you can hear before your exam if you really make many IELTS variants. Then there is the part when you read texts and you answer the questions, and here first my suggestion is that you should first always read the questions. In IELTS test, nobody will check if you do really understand what is the text about. They will just check your answers. So even if you really understand what is that text about, you read it, some article or something, and you know about what like main ideas and stuff, it won't sometimes really help you to answer the questions. So I suggest you really focus on the questions and just then read the text. What I always do is I read the questions and I find answer to first question, and after that I read the second question and search for the second question. Also, an interesting thing that in IELTS test, if there are, for example, 10 questions in it's like one task, there are inside 10 questions, they will be in order in which you will find answers in the text. So what you can do, if you found like first answer, second answer and fourth answer, but you are trying to search for the third answer and you don't know where to find it, so just find where is the answer for the third and for the fourth, and the answer for the third question will be inside, like the paragraph that will be between the questions that you answered before. So they always keep that in order. So try to search questions not just in text everywhere, because you have like just 1 hour for 3 really good and really big, huge articles that are usually historical or about chemistry, really very hard. So you don't have time to, you know, like look everywhere for that. You just need to find answers for that questions. Also, another suggestion is to look what the answers for the questions could be, because sometimes they say to you to answer true or false, and sometimes they say to answer you yes or no. And if you are not focused enough and you answer yes or no to that paragraph where they wanted you to answer like false or true, everything will be counted as mistakes. So it's very important when you open the questions, you read. They want to answer you yes or no, or true or false. That's very important because that was my problem. I answered many times. I understood everything, but I decided to answer like with wrong using like wrong words, and everything was like bad just because I didn't read carefully what they wanted from me in that part. After reading this text, you will have the part of writing, and as I said before, in the reading part you will have 3 articles, and in the writing part you will need to write 2 essays. One essay is like the longest one, and it's usually about some economical themes, about nature, more social aspects. I think it's easier than the other one. Of course, it's long, and you need to know some structures to show that you really know English. But as for me, how I did it before exam, how I prepared, I just wrote different themes. For example, nature, and I found some materials about endangered species or so. Or for example, about linking pipes. It's also like counted like one of the problems right now, that it's waste of water. And then when I saw any theme connected with nature, problems or so, I always linked it to structures and words that I knew. So I think it's very important for you to write down maybe 5 or 6 blocks of different themes with different words, and then when you see anything connected with nature, you use your nature structures. If there are some parts connected with economical situation or so, you use everything that you know about economical situation in countries, in world, and etc. So the main thing here is not to improvise in the exam, but just to link what their question to the words that you know. Because in IELTS it's not very strict how you see the theme, how you analyze it. It's not you don't need to be a very good person that says it's very important to care about people or social aspects. If you know words that will show another position, even if it's not really good, it doesn't matter, because the main thing here is to show that you really know good hard English words, nothing else. And also what is important here is that I suggest you to also write down some words that will help you to write the text more in a kind of good structure. Words like, for example, moreover, those, in conclusion, in addition, also, and other words like that will help you to connect your parts, and that words usually make your text, your essay look really professional and good. Also, the other part of IELTS exam is when you need to write a text about some data. It could be a pie chart or some other charts with data. And here is very important, I think, to know words that can describe what is going on with the data. So basically, I think that you need to know 3 types of words for the task. First are words that help you to describe everything that is increasing. So, for example, is a positive trend. We think that it's steadily increasing or so. So everything that will help you to describe the situation where the data is growing like from 7 to 8, from 8 to 12 or so. Then this second type is everything that is decreasing, of course, because you know that it can grow or like go up or down. So everything that is decreasing has a negative trend, is decreasing from 7 to, I don't know, 2, and many synonyms for words like that. And then it will help you to describe the situation. And the third kind of words that you need to know for that exam, for that part of exam, is when something is stable. Because of course you can see that, for example, from year 17 to year 18, price for bananas was the same. So you need some words to express it, but not to use like it was the same, because you won't then get a high mark for that. So you can say that it was stable, or it was roughly increasing, decreasing, something. You know, you need to use many kind of cool words, even if you don't need them in your real life, but there you just need to write it down. And of course here you also need to use that link words like moreover, in conclusion, and etc. And very important in that part of writing exam and IELTS, when is the second text, as far as I remember, or it's the first, like this is the shortest one that you write about data, about pie charts. There you cannot express your own opinion. You cannot say also how that what is going on there affects people, society, or etc. You cannot say anything that is not given like in data. So here you can just describe what is going on with data and then say a conclusion. Like for example, in conclusion I can say that it's the most, like banana was the position that decreased the most, or something like that. So you cannot say that it was important, it's good or bad, it doesn't matter, because in that part you cannot say your opinion. But in the part of society, economics, and in the biggest say, there you of course can say, and you need to say your opinion, and it's also part of your mark. And speaking about the last part of the exam, about the speaking part, I really like speaking part because I think it's easy, because you always can answer the questions in the way you want them to answer. In that way, IELTS is not that restricted, it's not that formal, and they are not expected from you like to say correctly that thing or some words. Like they're not expecting you to say like what they want. You can say whatever you want, but the most important thing here is that your answer should be linked to the question. Of course, it should somehow answer the question, and at the same time you can say everything you want that is somehow connected to the question, and it will be also counted as your response. For example, there are sometimes questions that are so hard to like answer directly. For example, I remember that once I had a question about about trends in hats. Like in hats, and I was like, okay, I don't know anything about trends in hats. What can I say? So I just linked to it to trends overall, like trends in clothes, and then I said that yeah, of course trends are very important for the society, because for example sometimes there are some trends from America, so some country starts to dress like American people just because it's a trend, so it's like really influences the society or stuff. So you don't really need to know good words about like hats especially. You can link it somehow to other themes and answer the question, but just in the way that it's more comfortable to you. And here always remember, it doesn't matter if you say the truth, because it's not exam when you need to say the truth. It doesn't matter. You just need to say structures and need to answer the questions in the way when you will be able to use many words, many cool words that will show that you have a high level of English. Because it doesn't matter, they don't judge you on like if you are a good person, you are a bad person, do you think about people or do you think about children, it doesn't matter here. You just need to answer good, like using good words. Because sometimes when I try to express some good social positions, I cannot express them like in a good way, and then I can show my English, I can show my position, and it ends really bad. So here's the main thing that I suggest you to do is just to know some good structures, words, use different times, like use perfect, show that I have been doing it for a year, or I have been studying here for a week, or like show your English. You have very short time to do it. And also here in the part of speaking, I can suggest you to prepare the part about you, because they always ask you like, who are you, what do you do in your real life, and here it's very important not to say like, I'm a student, okay, nothing else. Here you need to prepare, so you need to say, I'm a student, I have been studying in my master's program for 2 years already, I really enjoy it and I'm keen on marketing. And you just don't stop, you need to talk and talk, because if you don't talk, they don't know if you just don't know anything or you are just shy. So just talk until they stop you. I think it's also a good point. You just need to talk, and when they stop you, then like you switch to another subject. And also prepare some materials about the place where you live. And of course it doesn't mean that you need to say the truth, because for example I live in a flat, so it's nothing interesting. And when they ask me in IELTS where do I live, I answer that I live in a country house, and there is a lake that is in front of it, and there is crystal clear water inside that lake, and I really enjoy spending my time there with my friends. Okay, so you see the difference. Once I can say that I live in a flat and I have no information to say about it. If you have something like to say about your flat, that's cool, but like, I don't. So I decided to like invent a story in which I can show that my English is much higher than it like could sound if I say like I live in a flat and nothing else. So I think that these were all my suggestions for your IELTS exam. If you have any questions or specific, like you want to know specific details or so, please write me below that video and subscribe to my channel. I wish you good luck with your IELTS test and like to enter your university or get a job that you want, like you are planning to have to take the IELTS exam for some reasons, I believe. Like speaking about me, IELTS really helped me because I entered a Swedish university and I'm right now living and studying in Sweden. Also thanks for the IELTS exam. So yes, it was everything that I wanted to tell you. Bye.